Awesome. So welcome everyone again. This is our third Q&A session, and the first session we're trying a build with us, I guess. The previous two sessions wouldn't call it super successful. We had really nice chats, intimate chats with a couple of people, Notion lovers. This one, we just want to switch it up a little bit, see if it will sparkle people's interests and feel like we're doing the right thing. There are more people this time, so welcome. Before I get started, we'll just do a little bit short introduction at the front. What you are seeing is our website built by Notion itself. The URL is really just notionaustralia.co. If you're ever interested, pay us a visit. What's on this page? A little introduction about ourselves. I guess our main purpose is just to connect people, and through doing live streaming events on Crowdcast, which is every month we'll run a major event inviting people as guests. Last time it was Conrad doing talking about gamification. And then you can see all of these events kind of in this section, past events. You can click on them and just take you to the Crowdcast page. You can look at basically replay the entire events. Immediately after this navigation, we'll always have what's coming up next. And this one, as we speak, is this event. I'm going to build a little plant nursery in Notion. And then starting today, we'll also added this section called templates we made. After this session, if you're interested in taking this templates home, the thing we'll be building today, feel free to click on this link and click on the template, duplicate it, and make your own. And we've provided or curated some FAQs. If you're interested in it, give it a look. Like we do recording, and if you need helps with Notion, here are a bunch of different links. And shout out to famous people like August Bradley, Danny himself. Danny is here. I'll get past this. This section is just Tim and my introduction. And finally, there are a lot of ways you can contribute to this community, not necessarily standing in front of a camera and speak about things, but we certainly welcome. And if you want to be a guest speaker, if you want to run through your templates, or you want to be a Q&A panelist, like in these sessions at Zoom, you want to help Tim and I to run the events, looking at different aspects of stuff, or anything really Notion related you are passionate about, give us an email. You're more than welcome to join us. And finally, if you have not signed up, we've got a link to our newsletter sign up place. Just your email, first name and last name. Will not send you a junk mail. I know how painful that is. I keep clearing junk subscription every week anyway. Cool. So we'll post the link again through I think through mid the session, just to remind everyone, here's the site. Cool. So what we are building today, this is something I actually built personally. And full disclosure, I'm not really a plant person until maybe the start of the year. And I guess pandemic has changed that. And it's actually been quite joyful every morning, just wake up and look at if there is a new sprout for all these plants. So we're going to build today is a digital plant nursery. This is my page basically, and this is as real as it gets. Well, what I have is a page full of the plants I currently have at home. I have around 10, and in fact, I picked up some plants from the neighbor last week because he is moving back to Queensland, which is a little bit sad. But we've got all his plants at home now, so that's exciting. So you'll see. So I might make that a little bit smaller, just so. So what you'll see on these pages are for each of these little cards, or what we call gallery view in Notion. I have a little image. I have the name of it. I like to name them. I started by naming them animal names, but then it didn't really stick. It's really hard to figure it out. And then I have a little section because we're getting a cat this weekend, actually, me and my partner. So it's very exciting. We've been doing research on what are the plants actually being not good for dogs or cats, or are not pet friendly. I have a little emoji for that. So if it has a green tick, it means it's safe. We can keep it indoor. If it is little red block, it means we have to move it to the balcony over the weekend. we'll go through how I did that. And then it's what are the common names of these plants? Where did I get these plants? Some of it from friends, because I helped them take photographs and stuff like that. Some of them from local shop. There's a couple of really good shops in Brunswick, where I live in Melbourne. They do excellent education on what are the indoor plants that's really good for your house. And then from neighbors, for example. And follow up is how long has this plant has been stay at home? So I think our longest tenant is Meerkat. It's been 271 days. And it's growing actually really good. And how long it's been drying up? So because all of my plants are indoor plants, and the recommendation we got, or really, we're really lazy, that every 21 days we'll do one watering, and we'll make sure, bring all of the plants to the balcony, water them, drain them, make sure they are dry, and then take them in. And every 21 days we do a repeat. It's very simple, and they all look pretty healthy right now. And so the last one, or the last two, is how long have they been drying up? And then if it is under 21 days, it will say stay put. If it is over 21 days, it will say please water me. And just to give you an example, clicking into each of these little pages, this one called Tiger, it's the prayer plant. Apart from all of these things that I've mentioned, I have a little bit cover photo here, and I have a linked database which kind of document the growth of these plants. And you won't see too many because I've only recently get started with this. And I am a mobile photography fanatic, so I take photos every day, almost like maybe 50 or 60 different photos, and it's just very simple for me to upload them to it. So I'll go through how I do them today as well. So in a nutshell, what we're gonna go through today are, we'll create two different databases, one for the plants, one for the photo, and then we'll link them together. In the plant database, we'll create all these different things, and I'll go through some formulas to help you determine, for example, how long has it been stayed for based on when did you take this plant home, and how do I show kind of customized emoji works for you, depending on a checkbox, and then display different message based on different condition. For example, staying over 21 days, drying up over 21 days. And then finally, how do we quickly add this database of photo, link it with each of these little plants? So every time you wanna upload something new, you just click on these new in each of these little things. I'll go fairly slow, and I'll try. And if you have any question, please feel free to stop me by typing comments, and Tim will find the right moment to pause me and answer all the questions. So before I get started, is there any question to start with? Cool. Let's get started. I have a side window on the side, just make sure I know what I'm doing. Cool.
You've got one in the background there, Lennon. In your background.
Yes. In fact, I have quite a bit, like it's on the side. We're doing water propagation as well.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah. So awesome. Let's get started. So we need a page. I'm going to move my laptop down a little bit just so I can type. Awesome. So let's say, okay, I've got a page called Plants Nursery. And then let's give it a little bit emoji. Let's say it's leaf. Awesome. And then basically I've talked about we need two databases. What I like to do is to create databases first and then spin up different views. And for some people, they may be familiar with the term of dashboard. So let's create two separate databases first. So I like to put a little divided line by hitting 3 different dashes, and it will form a divided line. Let's call it database. Shortcut backslash. I want to change this to a gray color. So I can just type in gray, and then this text will just become gray. Or you can always just click on add anything. Let's add a page. And this page, let's call it a plants database. And by database, I mean there are 5 different views you can create for a database. If you just click on here, it will just become a normal page, which is no difference than to a Google Doc or Word document. But if you select either of these 5 things, it will become a database. I like to just kind of start with the table. So let's go with the table. And let's just add a little bit to start with. For example, name is just name. I want to know what is the common name of this plant. And then just for my interest, I like to know what is the biology name. Not that I will ever be able to pronounce it or remember it. I've not even tried actually. Okay, let's just leave it there. And then let's give this a little emoji as well. Let's give it a sun emoji. Maybe just sunflower. That's the first database. And the second database we will need to create is a photo database. This one I use shortcut again. It's the backslash. And then just select page. Again, let's do a table. Let's just call this photos. Photos pretty simple. What I need is either like a time when I logged this photo. So give you an example. What I mean is whenever I add a photo, let's say I'm gonna open my folder on the desktop, which you will not see. Let's say I have this little photo down the road we'll need to add into it. What I really want is just when have I created, when have I actually uploaded this photo? And that means whenever I trigger creating this little block here. So in Notion, when you click on either of these attributes or columns in the table, you will see this thing called property type. This one has a little clips. Currently it's files and media. Self-explanatory, you can upload different files into it. What we want to create is a thing called created time. This is just automatically log whenever you've actually created this little blocks. And I'm going to change the name to logged time. And just for my benefit, I always like to add a little indication for myself to know this. I don't need to ever worry about this. This will always just be automatically created. So I add a little bit auto tag. You can use emoji, anything that works for you. What else? Bear with me. And then we'll have a, actually, we'll just leave it for now. And then we'll come back to it. So that's literally just a photo database. So I've now got two databases. I guess the reason of building these databases, you always have a store somewhere. Don't need to worry about it. What Notion really allows you to do is I can actually copy the link of either of the database and copy paste it somewhere else. And this is when we can create a view of this database. And by doing that, you can go paste this one. If you dismiss it, it will just be a link to the plants database. But if you click on create link database, it will effectively creating a view or an instance of that database. So whatever you see here, the plants are exactly the same as plants. Let's say I'm going to change something. I'm going to say there's a new plant here. And because I'm changing this one, it means this database has been updated as well. So effectively, you are seeing two copies of the same thing. And they're just in different places. Like I showed in my page, what I have is kind of this little card list, which is nice. Table doesn't really help that much here. We want to see kind of the plant babies we have. So in here, we have to add a view drop down. So the current view we're on is table. Table is your normal or your average spreadsheet. And then the one we are going to focus on today is called gallery. And I'm also a designer, so I'm going to talk about design things that you'll notice that nowadays when you browse websites, it's all cards, basically. That's what gallery view is. When you go to your e-commerce website, when you're shopping for clothes, or when you go to Amazon, you'll just see cards everywhere. And that's basically what gallery views offers you. So now we kind of have a gallery view, and let's just get rid of the table view because we won't need it. And you'll notice when you delete that, that little dropdown will be gone unless you create a new one. So let's start kind of creating a couple of plants. Let's start with this plant called Tiger. I will add a cover for it. And so you can click on add a cover and then can go change cover. Now, Notion provides a bunch of different things. It might not be particularly useful here, but you can search for different kind of wallpaper that's local to Notion where you already have them. You can upload anything. You can even link to a third-party images if you store them on S3 bucket. Again, web term. If you don't know it, it's fine. Or you can just search on Unsplash, like say Monstera, and you'll get a bunch of Monstera. This is when, if you don't have time to take a photo for your baby, but you exactly know what is the name of it, you can just select one, and it will just be replacing that for you. Now, I am going to upload my own tiger. Cool. And while it's syncing, let's just give it a moment to upload, and let's fill out. Okay, I know, so tiger here is really a prayer plant. What it means is at night, it will kind of stand up a little bit, which is kind of fascinating. At the first couple of days, I thought it was just because I watered it, so it's kind of lifted up. And turn out, every single night, it will just stand up. That's why I call it prayer plant. And its common name is this. Again, I will not pronounce it. Now, there's a couple of things that I showed. There are a couple of dates that I care about. For example, when did I take this plant home? And I call it birthday. So let's rename that to birthday. And then again, let's look at the property type here for this column or this attributes. The biology name and common name are all text. Text is simple. It's just plain text. You can put number or text into it. In development term, it's string. And you have numbers. Number is quite fascinating. You can add a bunch of different things like currencies, percentage, and other stuff. In this one, we were gonna choose is basically a date. So it's a date picker. So let's say, I think I maybe got it maybe around March I don't know, this time. Let's just say March this year. So we've got a birthday. And then just by looking at the birthday, I guess doesn't really provide too much value. You know the exact date, but I also would like to know how long has this plant has been stayed at my place. So let's look at a formula that's in Notion. So formula is a little bit advanced. It's okay if you don't get it. I'm gonna go through it bit by bit. And it's absolutely fine if you're just gonna duplicate our templates later and don't worry about this part. But it's actually quite fun, especially if you know a little bit programming or you are interested in doing advanced stuff in spreadsheet. It's no more complex than that. It's all logic, basic logics. So again, instead of text or instead of looking at the things in basic, we're using something in advanced again. We've just used created time. This one will use formula. And let's change this for, what I want to know is, I want to know how long it has been stayed for. And then because it's automatically generated by a formula, I'm going to give this an auto as well. So I only need to change the birthday to change this thing. So whenever you set up a formula, and then you click on this empty, you'll start seeing this little window, pretty much a terminal, if you know development term. So what we want to do here is basically run a simple calculation. I want to know what day is it today, and to minus the day of the birthday, get the time duration, and that's the days that I want. So it's simple. What time is it now? What time is it the birthday? And then give me the day between that. So if you ever need to write a formula, it gets all the properties handy for you. Properties here are columns or attributes. It's the same here. So I've got biology name, common name, birthday, and state up for. It's all just here. And then it has a couple of constants you don't really need to worry about. There are a couple of operators, or in development term, these are called functionalities. These are the things that's going to help you do a little bit logic or a little bit calculation. And this one, we're going to use dates between. So whenever you choose something, even if you don't understand it, take a look at the example here. So what this functionality or what this things do is, I'll take a date. I'll take 2 dates, basically, and then calculate what is the duration of that, which is exactly what we need. So I'm going to click on that. It will help me automatically finish that. So I can see that the syntax of finishing this little functionality is I need 2 dates, and then I need a little bit text. And the text here is really days, because I want to know how many days. By the documentation, it can return you years, quarters, months, weeks, whatever you need. Because today, to the system will always change. So we won't manually type in today's date. We'll actually use a little function again called now. So now will always return me whenever I'm looking at this window, the system time. That's the first date. The second date is the birthday. So we're just gonna click on the birthday. And then the third one is I care about days. I'm just gonna say days.
Just at the start, mate. Yeah.
Yep. So whenever you see a little red at the bottom, that means your functionality either has not been finished or there is some error in it. If it is this, means you're pretty much done. So now we've got 189. Let's take a pause a little bit and come back to this screen. So you'll see that here, I've actually got quite a bit of things going on. I've got some images, I've got a couple of different things on the cards where here it's super plain. To fix that or to introduce all these little attributes that we want on these cards, we go click on the three dots and go properties. And then I can start turning on the things that I care about. For example, sorry, I'm just gonna move my window a little bit. I'm gonna turn on the common name. Maybe I typed.
I think you popped them the wrong way around.
Yes, I got it the wrong way around. So I'm gonna put on the common name, pretend I'm right. And then at the top, you'll also see that there's this thing called card preview. Currently, it's the page content. And because we haven't typed in anything, it's empty. So what we want to do is go page cover. And then you'll see that this photo starts to showing up. Sorry, that was a hiccup. And we can also change it to change the size of the cards. For example, you can change it to small. If you just feel like it, you can change it to large or medium. We're gonna keep it small here. A little design thing that if you are ever interested in, the trick to keep this image look so good, one is I added white border. The second is to keep it 16:9 ratio. That will always make sure this photo kind of looks perfectly fit to this area. That's basically the image ratio of their cards defined. So what else do I got? I want the common name. I don't really need to see the birthday, but I want to see how long it has been stayed for. 189, which is the correct number. But on the screen, whenever I look at it, just by looking at that number, it doesn't really mean anything to me. What I want to do is I want to provide a little bit of support text for myself to understand what does this number mean. So let's go back to here and then add a little bit text around it. So the first thing we need to do is, if it is a text, no, actually, let me put it other way. So basically, we're just gonna add some text at the front and at the end. What I want to say is, it has been, or really just say, stayed up for a number of days. And you will notice that at the bottom, it's red. It's because we're still kind of in the programming window and these tags doesn't really mean anything. We need to add a little bit double quotation mark around it. And for your development term, these are strings again. So stayed up for these days still doesn't quite fix it. We actually need a little operator plus between them. And then again, it will actually tell you there's a type mismatch. So it's telling you that these are fine. The stayed up for fine, days fine, we can print it, but this is actually a number and it doesn't fix, it's not matching with the other thing. So you just have to remember this. You need to use this functionality called format. And basically what format do is it just turn everything into a string or a text. And after we've done that, you will see that it's here. But always remember to add a little bit space just so you can read it a little bit better. So now it shows you stayed up for 189 days and it's showing up here as well. So that's good. That's what we want to know. It has been stayed up for 189 days. So let's do a quick exercise again for watering. So what I do is every time I water them, because it's every 21 days, I only need to do it once. So I will set up another date property. Let's just call the last water on. And I think it's Saturday. I just watered this. And then again, I can get a duration of it, right? So I will just go to the formula and drying up for. I'm just gonna say dry up for, and then again, this is something I don't ever need to worry about it. And just to show you that this actually works, that if I change it to March the 1st, it will just kind of change it. It's changing, right? Yeah, it's changing. Just double check. So we'll use the exact same formula. I'm just gonna copy paste this and then here. And the only thing is different is we no longer taking the birthday, right? We're now taking the last time I've actually watered the thing. So it will say 4 days, and then we can change the text a little bit, say drying up for this amount of days. Now, if we look at again, so here we now have stayed up for, we now have drying up for, and then I actually want the system to tell me, because I'm lazy. I don't even want to think about if it is over 21 days or less than 21 days. So I have this other line to say either stay put, don't water it, or please water it. So we're kind of running a little condition, or in development term, it's if-else statement. I just want to say if the duration is over or equal to 21 days, show me something this. If it is less than that, show me another text. So again, we'll turn up a formula. We'll go auto. And then we'll just say water. So this one is a bit different. We're going to use a functionality called if. And let's take a look at this documentation before we move forward. What if does is, let's just focus on this line here. If takes a Boolean in development term just means if it is yes or no. If it is yes, it will show me the second things in this little functionality. If it's no, it will show me this value. So I'm just gonna put a little statement here, say, if the duration is over 21 days. If it is over 21 days, this value needs to be, you need to water it. If it is less than 21 days, this value here just needs to be stay put. And then we can add as many emojis as we want in that little statement. So let's do that. So we're gonna use our old friend, again, date between. And this time it is the date between now. And then it is when did I last watered on. And again, I wanna know days. So that is the first statement, half of the first statement. This is now I got the duration when, how long have I actually watered, what is the duration between now and last time I've watered it. Now, I'm gonna use a little mathematical tricks, which is just using a greater than and equal. If it is larger than or equal 21, so the second value I wanna do is the system, please tell me I need to water it. So water it. And I'm just gonna put a little bit emoji here. And if you're using a Mac, the shortcut is Control Command plus your spacebar. You can trigger the emoji window on a Mac. I'm just gonna use this and then add a little bit tick, green tick, to remind me. So the first emoji is telling me what does this number mean, or what does this text mean? And the second one is telling me what should I need to do. It's just my personal system. You can tailor that to whatever you need. That is the second value. And the third value is when it is not true or it is less than 21, we're just gonna say stay put. So I'm gonna put this, and then I'm gonna use this, and then just say stay put. So I'm all good to go. There's no red arrow here. So because I've only watered it 4 days ago, it tells me stay put. Let's try this. It will tell me it's water it. That's basically how you do an if-else statement and use formula to do that. It is actually quite simple. Give it a go yourself. I'm sure you can actually get it. Cool. So the last thing, which I mentioned, we're getting a little grumpy cat. Actually, it's called Chipper. We're quite excited this weekend and doing research on what are the plants that's actually poisonous to it. And half of our plants are actually not really good. So your average plants that are fern, pearl plants is pretty safe. Monstera is definitely poison. Of course, devil's ivy are poisonous, stuff like that. So there are a couple articles online. You can give it a go. What I want to replicate here is a similar thing. So we're going to introduce a new property, which is in the basic. It is a checkbox. So if we go back a little bit, we were looking at an if-else statement or the Boolean. So this checkbox is basically a Boolean. Again, Boolean means yes or no. If I tick it, it means yes. If I untick it, it means false. So I just want to name this question pet friendly. So by naming that, I know that if it is tick, it means it's friendly. If it is not, it's not friendly. If we go back to this page, again, let's turn on the things that we've just added. Drying up for, do I want to water it? So in this case, I don't even need to know when was the last time how long has it been drying up if you don't want to see it. Just for my benefit, I do want to see I might actually water a day before or something like that. And we can say pet friendly. So for some of people, this tick box is more than enough, and that's fine. If you think tick box, a little tick is enough for you to, stay alert around this plant, that's absolutely fine. What I want to do is I just want to kind of make it a little bit more visible for myself. So I'm going to use, again, this little tick box here as an if-else statement to tell me if it is pet friendly, I want to put a little smiley cat face on it. If it is not friendly, I'm going to put a crying cat emoji on it. So I'll name this the same, pet friendly. Oh, this is going way longer than I thought it was going to be. Pet friendly. And then it's a formula. So let's do that. So now, again, we're going to use this if. And then looking at this again, so the first Boolean is if the pet friendly have been ticked. If it is ticked, it's automatically true or yes. If it is unticked, it's false or no. Second value is when it's true, I want to show me a happy cat. When it's false, I want to show me a crying cat. So if statement, we can just add this little pet friendly. And again, because it is a tick box, it automatically either return yes or no. Second value is smiling cat. Smiling cat. And just for my benefit, again, I'm going to put a little bit of green text on it. You will start seeing these emoji kind of stacked on top of each other. This is a unique problem that only web browser has it. And if you use your native app on your desktop, you will never see that, which is interesting. So I'm gonna put a crying cat for the next one. What I'm saying is it will definitely look better if you use your desktop app. And it could also, because I actually enlarged my window just so you can see everything a little bit clearer. That's why it kind of stack up. Okay, so I've got good to go. I'm just gonna finish done. So it'll tell me that because I tick pet friendly, now it's pet friendly. So we're almost done. Let's take a look at the property window and let's open that. Now I don't really need this pet friendly anymore. So we've kind of got quite a bit of things going on, and I'm sure you have your own priority, and that's what's good about this little control window here. You'll see that you have these little 6 dots handle up front, and this is a hint where you can reorder all of these things. So for me, now my priority is I desperately need to know if it is pet friendly just to alert myself all the time. I don't want the cat to be near any of these. Can put the common name up a little bit. Nope, sorry. So in this case, it'll be the biology name. Stayed up for 192 days, drying up for 62 days. Let's just get rid of drying up. So I've got that. Awesome. And then just because these are empty, so some of the automatic things will just kind of give you that by default. So let's quickly maybe add another 2 plants. I'm not gonna fill out all these things. I'm just gonna add a little bit cover just so it looks a little bit nicer. I'm gonna upload the meerkat, I think. Yep. So let's change the cover. Meerkat. And then for the sake of it, I'm gonna say it's here. Last voted on 7 days. It's not pet friendly. Awesome. And then finally, let's add what we call swan, which is really a devil's ivy. Last watered on, I don't know, last month. It is it is not pet friendly, sorry. This is actually pet friendly because it's a fun. Awesome. So you start seeing that your plants start to showing up. Add another cover. Let it sync. And finally, we've created a photo database. So the final step of today's task is really how can I keep track of the growth of my plants? And for me, it's to take photos of them and observe where are the new sprouts coming in. So we're gonna add this little photos into this database into each of these little blocks. We're gonna take tigers as an example. And then before I do that, I'm gonna, again, click on these little 3 dots here, copy link. You can also go into this database if you ever need to. It's the same, copy link to views. And then I'm gonna introduce a little functionality in Notion for all of the databases is if you ever click on 3 dots again, underneath the properties which we've just fiddled around, there is this templates. Templates means if we open each of these, if you don't have anything, if you don't have any templates, it will just always show you press enter to continue with the empty page, or you can create a template. So it's the same as clicking on the 3 dots and create a template. Let's just create it here. I'm gonna call the templates of growth tracking. And you'll see the templates will look almost exactly the same as the other things. So we don't need to really worry about these things. Or in some of the use case, you might actually, for a template, you need to predefine some of the things. You can say, okay, I'm creating a non-poisonous, I cannot spell today. I'm not gonna try that. Pet-friendly, pet-friendly plant. So you can predefine that by automatically click on this and it will always be like that. We're not gonna do that here. We're just gonna do growth tracking. And all I care about is the photos. So I've just copied the little link of that database. We're just gonna click, put it here. And then because we've previously put 1 photo in, and that's the photo we uploaded maybe 25 minutes ago, and it's showing up. Sorry, so let's go back to templates. And let's just open this as a page so we don't lose this page. Again, if we take a look at the tiger here, what I'm using again is kind of the gallery view. So I'm gonna create a gallery view. Again, click on this, select gallery view, and then I'm just gonna get rid of the table view. And you'll see it automatically detect the content. So this time, the photo is showing up is because 1, this photo is kind of within this little content area. And then 2, it's because in the property, it's showing page content. So if we change it to page cover, it will not show anything. That's why you see I have this photo here and you can still see it here is because all of the attributes here are actually turned to page content. I don't really have page cover, which I really need to migrate them. Cool. And that's kind of really it. And we just need a little title for each of these photos whenever we upload them. So we can always kind of title them, but I title them based on which is the date that I upload them. I can quickly see that from state up how many days. Before we do that, because this is a template, that means we want to create this link between all the photos I'm showing here. I only want it to be related to this plant that I'm currently looking at. So when I'm looking at tiger, I want all of the tiger's photos show up. When I'm looking at swan, I want all of the swan photos show up. Here's a little trick. So you can turn on a thing called filter. Filter is basically I give this database a condition, show me something that I'm only interested in. In this case, is show me all of the photos that's related to this plants. So we're gonna add a little bit filter here, and then, sorry, forgot to do one thing. So I'm gonna copy that. So before we do that, we actually need to create a little property. This is some advanced stuff. If you don't get it, again, it's absolutely fine. In development term, we are creating a linked database. In layman term, we are connecting two databases together. So we are connecting this plant database to the photo database by clicking on properties, advanced relation. It will give me this window. It's basically asking me, you've got a database. Which database do you want to connect to this database? I'll select the database and I'll search for the one we've just created. It's plants with this little sunflower. This is again when emoji actually really helps, because you might actually have multiple databases called the same name. Hopefully that will not happen. If they do happen, sometimes emoji help you to keep track of that. I'm going to skip this part. You don't need to worry about this. I'm just going to say use the same property. And then I'm going to call this photos. So whenever I can click on this, sorry, I think I made a mistake. I actually link with the same database itself. So what I actually want to do is I actually want to link the plant database to the photo database. Photos. Bear with me. So because we link these two databases together, now if I select on something, interesting. Because nothing has been connected. It's so what we're doing is, what we're doing is basically connecting. No, I don't think it's showing up. It's fine. Let's just give this a name then. Day 129 maybe.
Or is it not the right database?
Yeah, maybe it's not the right database. I'll give this a little emoji picture. Templates, growth tracking, relation, photos. So you'll see that once we've connected two databases together, the other database things will just automatically come here, which we won't worry too much about here. What I want to introduce is for this little photo thing, because we want to connect it to the very block that you have. What you do is pretty much just select related, and you can select the name of this.
Have you named it?
I have not named it. We're not in the template. Sorry. Growth tracking, edit, filter. It will actually show up this template's name inside of this thing. I am definitely not doing a good job of explaining this, and I apologize for that. I'm just gonna select this and kind of show you the example. So we've kind of got a little template here called growth tracking, and then we've got a couple of a database called photos here, and then I'm gonna quit it. Let's see how does this template work. Let's say I'm gonna go into meerkat. Actually, go into tiger. And then because we've just created a template, now each of these little blocks will have a thing called growth tracking. And I'm going to click on that. And then when I click on that, it will basically read that template. And that template is what we've just created in there. And because there is no photo currently uploaded for Tiger, so there's no photo. So what we can now do is click on New. And let's just pretend today is day 10. And I can start uploading photos to here.
For those people who've been watching Notion stuff or listening to Notion for a while, that's, I don't know how long ago, was it, Lennon? A couple of months maybe? Notion brought out self-referencing filters, which was a big deal because that bit of functionality that Lennon just displayed, once you sort of understand how it works, you start realizing its potential everywhere. All of a sudden you can have databases that are related to your databases and bring up only the entries that are relevant to the page that you're looking at automatically without having to set it up. And it's a bit of a game changer.
Yep, that's right. It's almost broke my earphone here. So what you'll see is we've just uploaded the photo called day 10, and that's automatically linked with this tiger. And then if you click onto photo, it will also show you now this photo has been linked to the tiger. So we'll do one more example. Let's say swan. We'll create this template again called growth hacking. And then let's pretend the photo I have is actually for swan. And then let's just say it's day 5. And then you will see it kind of starts to showing up here once the image has been successfully uploaded. And you will see the photos only related to each of these. But then if you ever go back to your entire photo database, you will see all of the photo that you've been kind of uploaded, and you can see the relationship with the block you related them to. And over time, you will end up with something like this. You'll have a full backlog of how it has been grown, or even we did a little bit water propagation the other day. I just kind of put it into these little spared things we have.
Time you have in lockdown, hey Lennon.
This is how bold we are. We need someone to come and save us now. But yeah, that is it. I have taken significantly more time than I thought I was going to be. I hope I was being thorough, and I hope you've kind of got the concept, at least until when we create the templates. So what you can do now is you can go to our website and then look at the templates. This is exact the templates we've just created. Some screenshots, you can click on them if you need to preview them. And then in here, I've just provided one example. So I've created the plants and photo database for you. I've created one example here. What you can do is, interesting. What you can do is on the right-hand side, it should have a little duplicate. Should have a little duplicate button where you can make it your own templates, which we'll fix in a moment. And then once you duplicate that, it will just become yours in your workspace. And then you can tweak all of these little attributes as you want. And then you can just make your own.
Or if you're in lockdown and you're really bored, you can rewatch the video again and make it step by step with Lennon.
Yeah.
It's actually not that bad though, because when I first started playing with the formulas, I had never done any programming before, and it all seemed a bit much. And I did some practice where I sort of did step by step and listened to people talk about it, and it was the best way to learn. Now I feel really confident with it. So if some of those things like the relations and the formulas are new to you, it's worth going step by step if you've got the time.
Yep.
Yeah. Any questions?
Yes.
Other people?
We'll start taking questions.
Danny, who people will have seen talking in the chat, he runs a YouTube channel and is a Notion Pro based in the UK. So he already knows all the answers. Actually, most of his questions are, I think, are smart ass questions, because actually there's probably a better way to do it that Danny knows that no one else yet knows. And he likes to remind us. But anyone have any questions that we can answer? One thing I did want to tell people was what I love about the gallery view. It looks really good on the desktop like this, but it looks fantastic on the mobile. Of all the database views, it looks, you know, really, really nice. So I figured this is the kind of tool that you might build in Notion that actually you want to use on your phone. And you know, you want to quickly check your plants, and the cards in the gallery view come up beautiful on the Notion mobile app. So that's well worth a look. The cards like all stack one on top of the other. It's great.
Yeah, and emojis is still broken. Even if I resize it, they gotta fix that.
Oh yeah, right. So does that only happen in the browser, you were saying?
Yeah, doesn't happen in the native. There's some funny spacing between characters and emojis, or emojis between emojis on the web browser version of it. Interesting.
Lennon, Dario was asking, what are the next ideas you were planning to add?
Is it for the plants or any other templates, Dario? If it is for plants, I'm still thinking about it. I think maybe I will actually add maybe a property for where this plant actually is, or I don't know, but my home is not that big. It's really not that necessary. But it might be interesting because we're going through home inventory at the moment, that we do want to know. We have a whole bunch of other appliance and electronic stuff that we want to know where we have stored them in which room. And then we would probably have a separate database for the rooms in the home anyway. So we might just tap saying this plant is actually related to the living room or the balcony. Probably most of them will be ended up on the balcony this weekend.
Yeah, nice. Oh, Simon's saying, who I know is an avid gardener, that it would be useful to have a property for different light conditions.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Yeah, and I think what you can do there is really add a property, and I think you can use tag probably, and then you can type in different lighting condition, or even you can setting up the lighting condition as a different database and link it to this one. And what then you can do is you can, based on the tag, trigger different tags you want to display for the plant. For example, you can say the plant itself is low light plants, but then you can give instruction around what this low light means on a separate formula, something like that.
Yeah, nice. You could have, I don't know, maybe your plants are better looked after than ours, Lennon, but we have had a few illnesses in our home plants. I reckon you could have a related database with stuff about, you know, different diseases that it's caught, or, you know, multiple plants might have caught. One might have caught it from the other.
Yeah.
You can track all kinds of
interesting. Absolutely.
Bug infestations at death date.
That's harsh. We'll just pretend we never had it. Yeah.
Very good. Excellent. Cool. Well, so would love any feedback that people have about this format. We ran a few sessions that were just like straight Q&A, and I think we realized that it was just a bit too broad. And so having a focus and something to kind of demo seems like it would be more useful to people. We really want to give people, especially people who are just getting their head around Notion for the first time, a chance to have a look at how you might put something together and all the different features. But if people have got, ideas about ways that we could make this more useful or more accessible, we'd love, you know, your advice and your input. That'd be super helpful. Yeah, great. Thanks, Dion. Nice. I cannot unmute myself. I've gone power crazy and now no one can unmute themselves. All right, there you go. It's a free for all now.
Thanks. I guess we just want to do a little bit ad for the next two events we're coming up with. So again, so basically we run events every 2 weeks, and alternatively, it will either be a Zoom session or a larger session on Crowdcast. So 2 weeks after, on the Wednesday, we'll have our fourth major events. It will be around productivity, how people, it will be around kind of your personal knowledge base. We have 2 different guests, one from Sydney, one from Bairnsdale in Victoria. They will talk about how do they kind of use Notion to store their own personal knowledge. And they have different approach. And one of them is library related, which is she used Dewey system, decimal system to kind of document her life, which is fascinating. I'm intrigued on that as well. And I think the events after that, maybe I should ask you to talk about it, Tim, because you are more close to that.
Well, I spent a bit of time on it this week, actually. I'm not sure how it's going to go. I was watching you building that and thinking, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to build this thing. But I've been chatting with a chef in New Zealand who, a lovely guy we just met on Twitter, and he uses Notion to organize a menu and an ordering system. He's actually a chef and is going to work across multiple sites across New Zealand. And so got a sort of 4-week rolling menu and a whole lot of ingredients and recipes. And so I've already built it once, but I can't imagine trying to do it live and not making too many mistakes. But we might try and we'll bring him on and have a talk about kind of the use case, and then look at, you know, how you might think about tackling a problem like that, and then how you might go about building it. I don't know if we'll get all the way. It ended up being kind of way more complicated than I thought it was going to, but it'll be fun. Come for the comedy. Watch me make a fool of myself. But I think it's a really fascinating use case, and I think Notion is most interesting and most useful when you have a kind of a strange, you know, a unique problem, a unique use case, and then you have to think through, you know, how do we need to solve this? What's going to make it most useful? And it can do some pretty cool stuff. So, yep, something around a big menu and ordering and food in a month. Cool. All right. I think that's it from us, Lennon.
Yep.
Nice. Any last words?
No, I think, and if you ever want to see, like, even if you have a template you have in mind that you are a little bit scared of building it, you don't know if you are going to get it, we'd love to take your idea and we can build it live for you if you feel like it. So send us email on their website or suggest us through Twitter or other things. You know where to find us.
Awesome. Nice. Thanks, everyone. Stay safe. Wear a mask. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.